Okay, so good day again. So for the continuation of our discussion, on the different environmental problem that is posing the Philippine region. So we also have the solid waste management. So as a review, so let us just go back, so on our climate change. So one of the reasons of having global warming or climate change is because of what? Of the different activities of the humans, illegal activities of man. And we can only reduce the risk of global warming if we save our electricity. We find ways in order to have renewable sources of energy and minimize the use of solid waste that we do have. So kaya kailangan natin talaga ding pag-aralan yung solid waste management as a pressing problem of our environment. Okay? So, another thing, so it is also related dun sa pinagtalakayan natin, dun sa last module on the water pollution or on the scarcity of our uh, water supply or water consumption. It's because most of our water system have these destructive elements which we called as the pollutants. And saan nanggagaling class yung mga pollutants na yun, or what causes our water pollution? So ang number one is because of our waste discharges, or most study conclude that our domestic wastewater is the principal use of pollution of the different water bodies. So household and toilet waste end up in bodies of water such as rivers, lakes, streams, and seas through the drainage system. Okay? So kaya, for today, pag-aaralan natin yung how to manage, or what can we do, in order para itong mga solid natin ay magamit pa natin, in other ways, or kung hindi na natin sila magamit, ay maitapon natin ng tama. Okay? So, solid waste management is a term that is used to refer to the process of collecting and treating solid waste. So, it also offers solution for recycling items that do not belong to garbage or trash. So, waste management is all about how solid waste can be changed and used as a valuable resources. So, it is also embracing, by different household, including our business owners, the different ways on how we could reduce our waste on our environment. So we all know that our land represents the solid section of our earth surface. So it is where human build houses or grow crops to support existence. And decomposers found that the surface of the soil transform waste organic materials into nutrients needed by plants to grow or bear fruits for the consumption of different organisms, including humans. So, non-biodegradable solid wastes and our toxic chemical waste render the soil useless for the growing crops and supporting other plant species essential to maintaining balance in the environment. So, it's because those solid waste have what? Contaminants or pollutants that can kill organism. Acting as the decomposers na magagamit sana, or makakatulong sana on our agricultural industry. So we do have a 4 classifications or categories of our solid waste. So bago yan, tingnan muna natin itong slide na ito. So solid waste management is also the collecting, treating, and disposing of our solid material that is discarded because it has served its purpose or it's no longer useful. So improper disposal of municipal solid waste can create unsanitary conditions, and this condition in turn can lead to pollution of environment and to outbreaks of vector-borne disease spread by rodents and insects. So kaya kung makikita nyo dyan sa larawan, one way of our solid waste management class is yung tinatawag nating 4 Rs of the waste management, or yung reduce, reuse, recycle, and refuse. So reduce means that it is our responsibility the people and of the industrial sector to minimize the use of materials which has what potential sources of harmful pollutants and contaminants on their operation. Reuse, so it encourages us to continuously use materials used as packaging of another product for as long as they remain safe for the human consumption and usage. Recycle, so involves the application of technology so that waste material may become useful again in the production of new products by industry sector, and refused or refusing to buy or use products that are made from and packaged with materials that are potentially harmful to the consumers. So, we do have different categories of waste. So bago dyan, isa-isahin muna natin ay ano yung mga classification of our solid waste. So number one, we do have the organic or the biodegradable waste. So this waste can be transformed into plant nutrients through the process of composting. Secondly, we do have the non-biodegradable or the recyclable one. So these are waste material which may be utilized as raw materials in the manufacture of new products. So we also have the non-biodegradable or the non-recyclable materials. So waste materials which are harmful to the soil and may not be utilized as raw materials for new products, and the hazardous waste or waste material which require treatment using applicable technologies before being disposed of or used as raw materials for new products. So we could categorize pa them into organic waste, which includes your kitchen waste, waste from the food preparation, say for example, yung mga pinagtalupan nyo ng gulay, yung mga petals ng mga flowers, leaves, anything na nabubulok na pwedeng gamitin na pataba. Dead animals, so these are the waste materials from dead livestock or animals. So you also have combustibles and non-combustible materials. So combustibles, ito yung mga madaling magliyab or masunog. Say for example, the paper, the wood, dried leaves, and other highly organic and having low moisture content material. So you also have non-combustibles. So the examples are metal, tins, cans, bottles, stones, and etc. So, another example pa of our waste ay yung mga tinatawag natin na toxic waste or hazardous waste nga natin na tinatawag. So, this includes the medicines, paints, chemicals, bulb, sprays, cans, fertilizers, and pesticide containers, and even our batteries. So, we do have recyclables materials, so your paper, your glass, metals, and plastic, ashes or dust. So, this naman are residue from fires that are used for cooking. So aside from that, we also have construction waste. So that includes your rubble, roofing, broken concrete, and etc. Hazardous waste includes oil, battery, acid, medical waste, industrial waste, and hospital waste. Bulky waste includes the tree branches, tires, etc. And solid waste, which includes hospital waste such as cloth, soiled with blood, and other body fluids. Okay? So, what are the effects of poor solid waste management? So, number one, litter surroundings. It's because due to our improper waste disposal. So, karaniwan class, lalong-lalo na yung mga squatter areas. Anong mapapansin nyo class? Yung kanilang mga area ay tapunan ng mga kung ano-anong basura. And it causes diseases, on the part ng mga taong nakatira doon. So, while people clean their homes and places of work, so they litter their surrounding which affect the environment and the community. So, kasama din dito class yung palagi nating pagtatapon ng balat ng candy kung saan-saan, pagkakapit ng bubble gum, say for example, sa ilalim ng upuan, or say for example, kapag kayo kumakain in some restaurants, sa halip na you do the clean as you go policy ay class, iniiwan yung inyong mga pinagkainan. Secondly, another effect is the impact on human health. So because of the continuous littering of our surroundings of the solid waste, what happens? So this expose us to different diseases such as skin irritations, respiratory problems, sometimes blood infections, growth problems, and even reproductive issues, diseases. At ang malala nga class, kapag say for example, doon sa mga water areas natin ninyo tinatapon yung mga solid waste natin. So, this is the reason kung bakit wala nang masyadong potable water sa Pilipinas. And the drinking waters that we have are very unsafe. Okay? Next, it also can affect or we will be having yung disease causing pests. So this type of dumping of waste material forces biodegradable materials to rot and decompose under improper, unhygienic, and uncontrolled conditions. So a foul smell is produced and it becomes a breeding ground for different type of disease causing insects as well as infectious organism. So kaya class nagkakaroon tayo ng mga dengue or waterborne diseases and even airborne diseases. So sometimes it's because of the pollutants or the contaminants na galing dun sa mga basura na hahalo sa hangin, nahahalo din sa tubig. So environmental problems, so solid waste from industries are source of toxic metals, hazardous waste, and chemicals. So when released to environment, the solid waste can cause biological and physiochemical problems to the environment that may affect or alter the productivity of the soils in particular. So next on that class is yung tinatawag natin na soil and groundwater pollution. So ito yung sinasabi ko sa inyo, class, na by disposing our solid waste on soil, and even on our groundwater. So it can cause what? Harmful contaminants to kill the organisms. Say for example on our soil na pwede sanang gamitin, or this is an effective source of decomposer na pwede nating gamitin sa pagtatanim natin ng mga iba't ibang halaman. So pinapatay yun ng mga solid waste natin. So ganun din sa ating water. Okay? So emission of toxic gases, so like pesticides, batteries containing lead, mercury, or zinc, cleaning solvents, radioactive materials, e-waste, and plastic mixed up with paper and other non-toxic scraps are burned. So they produce dioxins, furans, polychlorinated biphenyls, and other gases. So these toxic gases have the potential of causing various diseases including skin cancer. Okay? So ito din ang dahilan kung bakit nga ang ating air is very polluted. Lastly, we do have the impact on land and aquatic animals. So careless disposing of our waste and garbage also what? Kills yung mga land and aquatic animals natin. So actually class, yung mga styrofoam and cigarette butts have been known to cause deaths in marine animals, and animals are also at the risk of poisoning while consuming grasses near contaminated areas or landfills as the toxins seep into the soil. Now, so those are the different effects of our poor solid waste management. Now, let us discuss the different methods of how we can properly segregate our solid waste. So kanina nabanggit na natin yung 4 R's of waste management. That is one, the reuse, reduce, recycle, and refuse. Okay? So ito naman, ito ay mga karaniwang ginagawa ng mga malalaking companies and industrial sector. So number 1, we do have the sanitary landfill. So this is the most popular solid waste disposal used for today. So garbage is basically spread out in a thin layers, compressed and covered with soil or plastic foam. Modern landfills are designed in such a way that the bottom of the landfill is covered with an impervious liner, which is usually made of several layers of thick plastic and sand. So when the landfill is full, it is covered with layers of sand, clay, topsoil, and gravel to prevent seepage of water. So advantage of using sanitary landfill is it ensured sanitary waste disposal method. The only constraint is that it requires a reasonably large area. So this is an example of sanitary landfill. Itong nakikita nyo on our PowerPoint presentation. So usually ito ay ginagawa ng mga industrial sector or yung mga malalaking kumpanya sa segregate or sa pagtatapon ng kanilang solid waste. Next on that, we do have the incineration process, or the method that involves burning of solid waste at high temperature until the waste are turned into ashes. Incinerators are made in such a way that they do not give up extreme amount of heat when burning solid waste. So incinerators that recycle heat energy through furnace and boiler are called waste to energy plants. So these waste to energy system are more expensive to set up and operate compared to plain incinerators because they require special equipment and controls, highly skilled technical personnel, and auxiliary fuel system. Okay? So, ito naman ang example ng inyong incineration process. So, wherein yung ating mga basura ay idadaan sa isang machine or on the combustion process, and paglabas niya siya ay ashes na. So, the only constraint of this process is what? It emits smoke or gaseous pollutants that may affect our air. So, that will also contribute to air pollution. So next on that, we do have the recovery and the recycling process. Ito class yung ating kaninang reduce, reuse, and recycle. Of waste management. So wherein this is the process wherein we are not discarding our waste, but we are what? We are using it for another item or for another purposes. So example, so yung mga plastic bags, yung mga teas, mga glass and containers natin, 'di ba? So usually ating nire-recycle at ginagamit natin sa bahay. So recycling is an environmentally friendly process. So it is expensive to set up, and in most emergency there is a limited potential. Okay, so the most developed countries follow a strong tradition of recycling to lower volumes of waste. Specifically Japan. So meron sila mga proper ways on how to clean their environment as well as to recover and recycled materials. Okay, so ito ang example. So another one is the composting. Yung pinaka-familiar kayo? Lalong-lalo na yung mga nakatiraang rural areas. Okay? So, this is an alternative doon sa number 1 natin na landfills. Okay? Wherein our biodegradable yard waste is allowed to decompose in a medium designed for the purpose. So, only biodegradable waste materials are used in composting. So, ibig sabihin, mga organic materials lamang ang pwede nating gamitin. So, this is a biological process in which microorganisms like fungi and bacteria convert degradable organic waste into substances like humus. So, this finished product, which look like a soil, is high in carbon and nitrogen. So, good quality environmentally friendly manure is formed from the compost that is an excellent medium for growing plants and can be used for agricultural purposes. So, actually, class, yung mga humus na yun or manures, from our compost pit, yun yung ginagamit usually ng mga farmers natin, at saka ng mga may-ari ng agricultural lands na pataba sa kanilang mga tanim. So kaya minsan maririnig nyo yung mga organic vegetables, organic fruits na binibenta on market or sa merkado. So yun ay ginamitan class ng mga manures from our composting process. Okay? So this is an environmentally friendly process or activity of segregating our solid waste, but it requires intensive management and experienced personnel for large-scale operation. So this is the example of our composting. So next on that, so we do have pa class yung inyong Number 5, the pyrolysis. So, this is a method of solid waste management whereby solid waste are chemically decomposed by heat without the presence of oxygen. So, it usually occurs under pressure and a temperature of up to 430 degrees Celsius. The solid waste are changed into gases, solid residue of carbon and ash, and small quantities of liquid. So, this will keep the environment clean and reduce health and settlement problem. So the only constraint is that it destroy chlorinated organic molecules by heat, may create incomplete combustion products including dioxins and furans. And di ba kanina napag-aralan natin on or nung previous video natin that yung mga dioxins and furans are very bad on our air as well as on our water. So these are compounds highly toxic in the parts per trillion ranges, and the residue it generates may be hazardous waste requiring proper treatment, storage, and disposal. So this is our example of pyrolysis cycle. So usually class ito ay ginagawa sa mga malalaking pabrika, no, lalong-lalo na doon sa mga engineering or mechanical engineering industries. So to summarize, proper solid waste management is an integral part of environmental conservation that should be observed by both individuals and companies globally. So it's yung responsibility natin, class, to protect our environment. It is not solely na ginagawa ng humans or ng government. So yung mga private sectors natin are also partaking doon sa responsibility na iyon. Okay? So for us to combat yung problems natin on our environment. So I just wanted to add that we have a Republic Act for the ecological solid waste management. So this is Republic Act 9003, or the Ecological Solid Waste Management Act of 2000. So this law provides the legal frameworks for the country's systematic, comprehensive, and ecological solid waste management program that shall ensure protection of public health and the environment. So it also provides the creation of the National Solid Waste Management Commission, the National Ecology Center, and the Solid Waste Management Board in every province, city, and municipality in the country, which are mandated to formulate a National Solid Waste Management Framework, or a 10-year solid waste management plans by our local government units consistent with the National Solid Waste Management Framework. Okay? So what are the silent features of RA 9003? So mandatory segregation of solid waste to be conducted primarily at the source, such as household, institutional, industrial, commercial, and agricultural sources. So kasama din doon sa features ng RA 9003 is the setting of minimum requirements to ensure systematic collection and transport of waste and the proper protection of health of garbage collector. So ganun din yung promotion of eco-labeling and local products and services. O kaya kung makikita nyo, class, talaga yung ating mga delatang pagkain, tsaka yung mga pagkain natin ng mga noodles, ito yung mga best example, so meron silang mga eco-labeling, kung saan paano mo sila dapat i-dispose, lagi may nakalagay na recycled, doon sa may likod. So prohibition also of non-environmentally acceptable products and packaging, including importation of consumer products packaged in a non-environmentally acceptable materials. Aside from that, so kasama din yung establishment of material recovery facilities in every barangay or cluster of barangays, and putting up of reclamation or buyback centers for toxic material. So usually ito, class, yung MRF nito ay nakikita saan? On public schools. Provision against the use of open dams and setting of guidelines criteria for establishment of controlled dams and sanitary landfills. So aside from that, kasama din sa RA 9003 alin? Yung prohibition on littering, throwing, dumping of waste materials in public like roads, sidewalks, canals, terraces, parks, and establishments, including the open burning of solid waste. Manufacturing, distribution, or use of non-environmentally acceptable packaging materials are also prohibited. So, another is provisions of rewards, incentives for both fiscal and non-fiscal, financial assistance, grants, and the like to encourage LGUs and the general public to undertake effective solid waste management. And lastly is the promotion of research on solid waste management and environmental education in the formal and non-formal sector. So those are the silent features of your Republic Act 9003, which has something to do on the solid waste management. Okay? So, yun.